Hey, this is Kobe, and yeah, looking good. We can take a look at the hat. This came out well. Um, and boots, good. Looks like a good, clean model. One thing that I like to do is put what's called a holding edge there at the top to kind of hold the edge to get when you put it in smooth mode to kind of keep that thickness there. And for that, I like to use the multi-cut tool, which is under Mesh Tools Multi-Cut. You can also use Control-Shift-X. And if I hold the Control key and I put that extra edge there, doesn't look that different. Put one on the inside as well. Yeah, that helps a little bit. So can you see the difference between this, how this kind of comes to a point and back down, but that has sort of a flatter surface on top, some more thickness. So that's what I mean. So by a holding edge, so sometimes that can be helpful for situations like that. Like if you wanted, I mean, you've kind of got one here, so that's good. You could have one at the top there if you wanted to. Just holding the Control key down, you know, kind of holds the heel shape a little better. But really, it's looking good. Nice work. Okay, this is Jeffer, and yeah, got good shape to the hat. You could, you know, if you wanted to, you could push this in a little bit. Let me grab this hole, pull that in. Just to give it a little more shape there, or maybe you want to, you know, pull these in a bit. I'm just going to select these two and scale them towards each other. So just some extra little touches to give it a bit more shape. Could be good. And yeah, boots, yeah, pretty straightforward, looking good, good shape. If you saw the last critique I did, I talked about putting like an extra holding edge or two around the top to kind of hold that thickness up. But yeah, it looks good. Come together nicely. Kendra mentioned an issue with her boots, which I just want to make sure you're all aware of. So if I pick a vertex here, I can move it around fine, no big deal, right? Looks good. But if I hit the B key, it puts me in soft select mode. And if I hold down B and then click and drag and grow my selection, suddenly when I just pick one point, it's affecting this whole area. Now it's a great tool and it can be really helpful, but if you don't know what's going on, it's very confusing, it'll get in the way. So B will toggle the tool on and off. So it's on, it affects that whole area. Hit B again, it's off, it just affects the one vertex. So just want to make sure you all knew about that. The boot looks, it's a little kind of square on top. There's one tool I really like that helps with things that look a bit square, which is called Circularize. So if I take an edge like that in my poly modeling tools, is it this one? Circularize. So see how it makes that into a circle? I can kind of twist it to straighten it back out here. And maybe scale it in a bit. I'm going to have to, it's a little weird when we haven't done this one yet. Let's do that one. And twist that straight. And now I'm just shift double clicking on these to select them both. So see how that's kind of more rounded, and we could probably do that for this and that as well. Can I do two at a time? Yeah, I can. Let's just twist those back straight. This maybe scale them in a touch. And yeah, I mean it's probably, I'm just going to select this object, right mouse click object. I'll isolate this object here. And probably a good idea to do these inside edges too, so they don't intersect the outside ones if you're going to use that. Ooh, something went funny. I'm going to undo. Oh, see, it didn't select that whole bottom one. That was what went funny. Yeah, I can see it penetrating there. So let's straighten this out. And then let's scale this in a bit. Anyways, I just think it's a really cool tool. I'm just going to select both the inside and the outside of this, and maybe scale that in some more. Okay. And maybe even this one, if you think it needs it. And then you could do, you know, maybe you want to adjust these verts down, just like these two, move them down to kind of round out that toe, maybe these as well. Just give it a little better shape there. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you could put a few more touches on that, but overall you got that looking pretty good. I showed in an earlier one how you can add a what I call holding edge in there with the multi-cut tool, mesh tools, multi-cut tool. Hold on the control key allows me to add an edge here and there, and then you can see when you're smooth you kind of hold that top a little more. You get that top edge. If you compare that, whoops, I didn't mean to do that, with this boot. Yeah, I mean, let's compare the two side by side now. I'll just isolate both of those together. Whoops. And you can see this one's kind of very square and it has very thin lip, and this one's a little more rounded nicely and has that thicker lip. So just a few kind of touches you can improve on that with. And yeah, the hat again is looking a little flat. You know, I just think you could give it a little bit more shape, maybe taking these guys and moving them up maybe like that, you know, maybe more. I mean, here's where you actually could use soft select to your advantage. So I did B, I'll hold B and decrease that, and then move that up, and I got, you know, a little bit more shape. And then, you know, with this, whoops, control vertex, this one, and that one, probably much smaller. Probably just turn off soft select and R for scale and scale those in towards each other maybe a little bit. Pull this back a bit because we're intersecting the head now. And then maybe this, and let's maybe right mouse click, go to hulls, pick this hull, move it down a touch, and maybe that center bit here. I want to go down with that a little bit. But maybe collectively I'll move these up. Just to make sure they don't intersect the top of the head. So yeah, I'm just trying to give it a bit more shape. I think it's still intersecting top, I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, I think you could go further giving that some more shape, but overall you got the basic shapes right, so it looks good. Okay, this is Gabrielle, and it looks like you kind of went above and beyond with their requirements here. As I think it was just to do the hats and the boot, but it's a very cute cat. It's looking good. One thing is anything that's going to bend needs more detail if you're going to rig that. I think the boots, actually, maybe you want to follow the tutorial a little more closely because those aren't looking great, and they're very square, and I think even smooth, and they look kind of funny smooth. So I think you could do better there, just sort of following the tutorial. You know, if you're going to have legs like this, if you're going to need additional detail, a good way to add that is a multi-cut tool, mesh tools, multi-cut, and oh, is this nerves or is this? I assumed it was. Oh, it's the nerves cylinder. Wow. So yeah, then it would be isoparm and whoops. just isolate this object real quick. There we go. Maybe add a few of these like that, and then do surfaces or insert isoforms, you know, because you'll need that extra detail to properly bend it. So anywhere you think a surface will bend, like a knee or an elbow, you're going to want to add isoforms if you're using nerves, or edge loops if you're using polygons. And then, so this is polygons, so I'll use a multi-cut tool, Mesh Tools, multi-cut, hold down the control key, and you know, just add a few loops, because if that's going to bend, it'll need more detail. If you want to do a little pause, what I might do is, you know, maybe, wait, is that, this is, oh, that's a nerve sphere also. I thought it was a polygon sphere. Well, actually, let's convert this to a polygon sphere. Modify, convert, nerves to polygon, options, we'll use control points, tessellate that. Make sure it didn't give me, yeah, we can get rid of the original. And then for a paw, like a simple paw, I might select like 1, 2, 3, 4 faces, and extrude face, and whoops, put that back. Why is it not giving me that back? Okay, let's try that again. I just undid that shift right mouse click. I didn't mention that. I'm holding down shift and the right mouse button. I go to extrude face, and I can pull this out, but the trick is turn off keep faces together, and then, you know, I got these paws. I can click this and maybe sort of pull them forward for a little bit down, maybe something like that. Maybe add a few divisions so that there's more detail to work with. So that could be a quick way to start out getting a kind of a paw-like hand. Be something like that. You can work on that shape a bit more, but that could be a start. Yeah, so cute character. But definitely kind of redo those boots based on the lesson. Okay, this is Ariana, and yeah, this is not working out that well. It looks like it's got a ways to go. I would say you should review this page 2 of module 8, which takes you through this process of modeling the boot, and definitely watch this video. It's, you know, I'm not gonna redo it, but I think this, you know, just follow this step by step, and you should be able to get, you know, a much better boot by the end. So I think that the one you have is nowhere close to what's in the video, and it's frankly it's a little bit of a mess. So I think you need to just start over on the boot, and then you also need to do the hat. And then you mentioned having trouble importing it. It shouldn't be a big deal. You should just be able to open that file and then file import and bring them in. So if you can let me know where in the process there you're getting stuck, I will help you out. Okay, this is Princeton, and the hat's looking good. It's got some nice shape to it. The boots are alright. They're looking very square to me, and I think you want to get them a little more rounded. I might take these and maybe not those, and then scale, but then just use this one and kind of pull those in a little bit, and see if we can use that circularize on all of these. No, that's not going to work. Kind of do one row at a time. So what I might do actually is to speed this up. might take out some of these edge loops and then put them back in. So if I do shift right mouse click, I just right mouse clicked at edge, double clicked on the edge, and then shift right mouse click, delete edge, and just delete a few of these. This is just going to save time. You know, keep most of the basic structure in there, but get rid of the extra edges for the moment. Because then, yeah, then I'll do this edge and I'll use that circularize tool that I like here, and this edge, and do the same, but maybe this time I have to twist it a little bit to straighten it out. And then let's do that inside one as well. And do we have to twist that a bit? It looks a little twisted. No. I guess that's straight. This top one looks a little twisted. I'll just rotate that. Yeah, that's better. And then I'll go ahead and put back in the others. So I'm just going to use the multi-cut tool, mesh tool, multi-cut, hold down the control key, mesh tools, multi-cut, hold it on the control key, and then I can put these, you know, edges in. Or even before that, whoops, I might scale it a bit this way, and this one, and shift select this, shift double click that one, and scale that in a little bit. Then I might put in the other edges, you know, if you want it to give it a little bit more shape. Mesh tools, multi-cut. I'm just holding down the control key to add those. And yeah, you can maybe add some additional shape to it. I don't know, maybe it gets narrower or something. And then I think I need some additional edges at the top here, and I'll take this edge. Oh, what do I have on here? Oh, okay, I think. What edge is that? Oh, it's just I'm seeing straight through, that's why. Okay, so maybe this one scales out a little bit, and this one goes down and scales in a little bit. And then Control Shift X is the hotkey for the multi-cut tool, and I get another edge on the inside and outside, and you know, looking a little better. And then you've got some weird sort of, I don't know, kind of corners on here or something, like the way those stick out. I feel like that's just extra geometry you didn't really need, but maybe if I hold down W, I get this marking menu. I can go to Axis, Normal, and oh, let me do that for faces, will it? All right, skip that. Just go back to Object. Scale those in towards the middle and move them in. That's fine. Anyway, I just think you could touch this up some. It looks like the boot needs some work. And then import it into the character file. And so, yeah, I think I would just follow the tutorial a little more closely, at least as the starting point, and then add detail onto that, rather than having this real kind of boxy, square-looking thing. Okay. Okay, this is Cam, and yeah, let's take a look at the boots. Looks pretty good. You got this poking through a little bit. I might just push this back a bit. But they have decent looking shape. Okay. And you had an issue. Oh, there's a little kind of zigzaggy wackiness here or something. And also I wouldn't maybe have that pointing quite as much up, maybe a little flatter in the front, and these seem to be sticking out a bit much. That one looks a bit odd. Maybe this could go up a little bit to kind of round out that shape. Maybe straighten that out some. And then maybe both of those could a little better. So yeah, you might touch up the shape a little bit. And then let's see what's going on with the hat. Import the hat file, import, there's a path for the hat. Okay. It's awfully big. Okay, let's scale it up. So that has history, this has history, this has history. So it could be why you're having trouble, but let's try selecting all these three, grouping them. I can do edit group or control G, so I've grouped it now. Scale it up, or that is weird. So let's try deleting history off these first. So I'm going to select these three surfaces and delete history, edit, delete by type, history. Okay. And is that going to work now? Yeah, okay, so that's fine now. I guess it was just that history that was weird. So yeah, so just delete history on those surfaces and make sure they're grouped. I think that'll be the big thing, and then you can get that hat, you know, properly scaled and fit on the character. Something like that. It's a bit with this extra ridge here. I think it's a little weird. You might. Where's my vertices? It's being weird. I don't know. Alright, anyway. We could try adjusting that a little bit. Might just have to close and reopen it. It's acting a little funny. Alright. Yeah, I think just a little more shaping on the boot could be good. Okay, this is Mercedes. Hat. It's looking good. Okay. Yeah, it's got an interesting shape. Looks alright. And boots. Yeah. Something went a little funny with the top here. Let's just isolate this. Some this kind of overlapping surfaces there. Not quite. Yeah, it looks a little odd on the inside as well. I'm going to shift double click here, and I'm just going to delete out that. And actually, before I do, I'm going to do shift period, which is the greater than symbol, which will grow the selection. And maybe just one more, and I'm just going to delete all of that because it went a little funny. And then we have like a clean surface to work with. So I'll right mouse click, go to edge, double click on the edge, hold down shift and right mouse click, and go down to extrude edge, and just kind of pull that edge in like so, and then do it again, shift right mouse click, extrude edge, and now I'll move it down inside. Something like that, and if you want you could add a couple of divisions to that one. And then as I mentioned in some of these other ones, I like adding a couple holding edges to the top here. So that's Mesh Tools, Multi-Cut Tool, or Control Shift X. Hold down the Control key, and go take an edge there and one there, and that kind of keeps some thickness on the top there. So yeah, that's looking a little better than you had something that went wrong with the top of yours over here. But other than that, yeah, looking good.